So what's up there, YouTube? This is my first ever YouTube video, so I don't really know what I'm doing. I think you got to do this a lot. I'm not really sure, but anyway, this is my 2003 Ford Excursion. It's a limited. It's got rear DVD, and I'm gonna put a Atoto 10-inch display unit in it. Lots and lots of wiring in this thing, so I'll show y'all what I did, probably what not to do, because I'm just winging it. What's up, YouTube? I'm back. So over the holidays I ran away from the wife and kids as much as possible to try to get this thing completed and installed. Run into a couple small issues with the DVD player in the back. I had a Pioneer 4500 series NEX. We could watch DVDs back there. I never tried using any downloaded media, but you couldn't use Netflix, you couldn't use YouTube or any streaming apps with that head unit. I had to jumper the parking brake wire to trick it into playing DVDs up front, so if any of the kids were sitting up front, they could watch that. This unit, it is a Atoto S8 Ultra with the 10.1 inch monitor. Biggest difference between this and the old unit with playing video to the rear DVD is I had to wire up an RCA video connector for the Pioneer. When I wired that up into the harness, which, let's see if we can find it for you. When I wired that connector up, I cut this harness, and then I ran just a regular RCA cable to the back, which I've tucked up here. Probably can't see it. See if we can get some light. There we go. I tucked it up out of the way, zip tied it there for now, and I also zip tied HDMI. You'll see why here in just a second. But I run that RCA cable back to the DVD player. I've got it disconnected here so I could get video back there. Well, this unit has HDMI port, so to make that work you need this little box here. Well, I'm not going to knock the box. I think the box works okay. They say in the US you need that NTSC setting. I could get my rear DVD monitor to work a little bit, but it was intermittent. I believe it's the monitor itself in the back going out. The DVD player no longer works, so I'll probably just replace that. But for now, I just run an HDMI cable through the dash, zip tied it down there with the RCA cable, and eventually I'll get that straightened out. So I did install a dash cam. It's a Atoto dash cam. You can play back the function through the head unit. I just ran the wire along the headliner, down the A-pillar, up under the dash. Pretty straightforward. It actually uses a USB. So there's two cables similar to this, or two harnesses with two cables each. If you read on it, they have, I can't read that one, but maybe we can read that one. External storage, phone link. Anyway, there's one that you can plug that camera into. It works fine. So whenever you're looking at the instructions, it'll say something about forward camera. There's an output on the back of the head unit for a forward camera. You're not going to use the forward, you're going to use that USB for the dash cam. Now the rear camera is a little confusing for some people. The harness is a little different than what the instructions show. You've got this power wire that goes into this RCA plug. That wire is connected in your harness, and the harness will say rear camera. What you're doing is getting power through this harness, and it's when your backup lights come on, it signals that wire, or sends signal to that wire to turn the monitor on in the head unit for that. It's straightforward. It's a negative and ground. Just hooked it up to the backup light in the back. You route that cable however you want to. I ran it inside the vehicle and mounted it with the tag mount. I have not calibrated that yet. It's not really that hard, I don't think. I just haven't done it yet. Alright, moving on to Excursion specific stuff. I showed you the RCA outlets. I did wire in RCA input, so if I did replace that DVD player and decided to play a video from that, I could display it up front and run the audio up front, but I don't really foresee that happening. There's 3 antennas that come with this. There's a GPS antenna, there's a Wi-Fi antenna, and then there's a 4G antenna. They all are color matched, or they can only go one place if you match up the colors. So with an F250, F350, or Excursion, there's a little bar that runs through the dash, and there's a flat spot. I was able to mount the GPS antenna there. You can't really see up there too well, but I just stuck the other antennas to the bottom of the dash. Most people have had pretty good success with that, and so far I haven't had an issue with it. Let's see what else. One of the big questions I had was with the steering wheel controls. So with the Pioneer, I had to have this access. A lot of people use this for the steering wheel controls interface. It's got a little headphone jack that plugs in. It's an adapter like this. Well, this older truck has an analog signal, so you don't have to use that. Find the blue and red wire in the harness. There's a that square looking connector. Get that wire, you can splice into it, or you can just T-splice in it. There's 2 different steering wheel key wires on this harness. I messed around with the other one just to see if I could get it to work, but I didn't have success with the brown. I think it's yeah, here it is. See if it'll zoom in on it for you. Probably not. Oh well. It's a brown and black wire. That one I wasn't very successful with. The parking brake wire, you'll see here, I did not hook that up. With this unit, there's a way to turn it off. Back to steering wheel keys. Use the orange and black wire. I spliced it in, and it works good. It works better than this. So that, throw it away. Don't need it. Now, speaking of connectors, I'm a stickler for trying to have decent connections. So I ordered these off Amazon. They're heat shrink and solder seal wire connectors. So these work really well if you've got a decent heat gun. If you look right close, you can see a little metal band in the center. Use that heat gun. The red that you see there will seal to the wire. It'll shrink around, but that silver band in the center is solder, and once heated it will solder those wires together. This is the first time I've ever used these, and they seem to do okay. Let's see if there's what else magic this thing has that I need to tell you about. With the double DIN units, you have to trim a little bit to get inside here. If you'll notice, it's kind of recessed back in the dash somewhat. The way this Metra kit works is once you put it in there, these little clips snap into place, and you better like where you got it, because it's going to be a pain to get it out. With that said, there's a little bit of an adjustment. Well, there's quite a bit of an adjustment with these units. This right here will slide in and out. There's screws on the top that secure that to keep it from going in and out. There's the USB port on the side, aux, and the SIM card input, I guess. I don't know. SD card, I guess. The that RST, I've not tried this myself, but they say if you put a SIM card in this after you power it up, it will not recognize it, and you'll have to reset the unit by pushing that little button. The reason I show you that is because with this head unit, once you slide it in there and snap it in place, you don't have access to all that. I mean, I think you can get to the stuff on the side, but as far as the adjustment, if you look on the back here, it will adjust up and down, and then there's a screw that mounts there and locks it in place. So you want to make sure you have that right where you want it, because when you slide this unit in and it pops, she's home. You're gonna have to fight with it to get it out. So I'm gonna pause this thing for a second, slide all this mess back in, and slide the display back on the head unit and kind of show you what happens with it from there. Alright, I threw it back in the dash temporarily. Let me show you what we got. YouTube, baby. So this is linked to my phone through a mobile hotspot. There's no lag in it. I don't have really any problems with it connecting right now. So steering wheel controls, you can program these to do whatever you want. Volume up, volume down. We go all over the place all the time, so I programmed one button to go straight to Waze, and Waze will allow you to listen to music through it. You can select Pandora, YouTube Music, whatever app that you normally use. Now, I have not started playing Pandora yet this afternoon, so it may not pull up. One of the buttons I programmed to go to the home screen. A big problem that a lot of Android users, I've heard some Apple users are having, is losing their contacts when they sync their phone. So let me show you what I did, and I haven't had an issue yet. Go to setting, user accounts, and then you're going to go to account down at the bottom, and then you're going to see the user contacts down here, automatically sync. Go down there and turn that off. So far I have not had an issue with it syncing and losing my contacts since I did that. Here, the steering wheel sync, there's actually an app for that down at the bottom. Steering wheel setup, there are the options that you have to program different things. I know it's hard to see with the plastic on it, but I haven't completely set it all up, so I don't want to scratch it up. This is one of the main reasons I got this for this truck. This is a 6.0 Power Stroke. It is a love-hate relationship with this truck. When it works wonderful. When it doesn't, we're not friends. But if you've had a Power Stroke, especially a 6.0, this is your friend. You can do real-time monitoring, which I don't have my dongle hooked up to the OBD2 port yet, but you can have your different PIDs. If you know anything about this app, then there's a lot you can do with it. There's plenty of videos on YouTube that shows you what to do with that. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. The front camera, no signal. That's because I didn't hook it to the front camera. HD DVR is the dash cam. That threw me for a loop. Oh, you can't see that. Security clearances and stuff. But there's still a lot I got to do with this thing. You guys get the idea of it. I'm pretty happy with it. There's a couple small little glitches that I've run into, but I'm learning to overcome some of them. And it's different than your normal Pioneer that I'm used to. But I'm happy with it. Only time will tell if there's any issues with them. But so far, most of the people I've seen with the S8 Ultras are really happy with them. Well, I guess that's about gonna sum it up. If you got any questions, place them in the comments in the bottom, and I'll see if I can answer them. I do have the mic stuck over here. I'm gonna secure it with some double-sided tape if anybody's wanting to know about that. I just run these USBs cords through the bottom of the dash, and yeah, I didn't wire that up. Previous owner did. Don't judge me. Well, I think that's about it. Till next time, YouTube. Later.